Unity Inspires projects, a new podcast flow weekly as best as we can. We are going live for Unity Flow podcast, and today, as a special edition, we are including our Relationship Flow podcast, and we're doing this from our beautiful home in the Holy Land. A big blessing to be here with all of you, and it's very exciting to have finally gone live with our own platform, own YouTube flow. It's amazing. It's so much to do, and I want to thank you all for joining us weekly. We will be live on Instagram live. Hopefully, right now this week we're just going to be putting up a little clip, and the full episode will go up live shortly, as well on our Unity Flow podcast on the audio on Spotify. Hopefully, we'll have some visuals as well. And our Relationship Flow podcast, we are doing a combo this week. We do not have my soulmate in the house, but it's exciting that we have entered ourselves on a new vision, on a new opportunity. It's a little bit hot here in my home, and hopefully the good news is we're checking out a podcast studio this week, someone who's done some amazing episodes with some amazing people that we're friends with on our Unity Bookings platform. So we ask you all to join us weekly and to share and connect to the links. We're going to first discuss Unity Flow, the Unity Flow podcast, what the mission is. This is a fresh start from everything we've done before. You can definitely check out all the previous work. It's years and years of content, and thank God, amazing people, unbelievable, inspirational people. We're just going to check how we're looking on the Facebook Live. The first time we're going live on Midnight Rabbi Inspires exclusively just on that platform. So yeah, thank God it's live there, and I'm excited to see that we're able to do this. I'm just sharing the link on the stories over there. And good news, this is a new start, and we appreciate all of you taking it seriously by giving some of your time to what we're doing. It's very exciting, a big vision. As you can see, the cover photo on YouTube, and we'll have it up on Facebook, is United Souls. We're trying to reach out to the soul level of humanity, and that very much jives with what we've been doing on Unity Flow, Relationship Flow, and all the other podcasts we've been involved with. The soul level is the key. People ask, why do I move around so much? So it's like a flame. A flame is flickering upwards to connect back to its source. So on a weekly level, you have to excuse me if I get excited and move around, because the point is we have to be a little bit more inspired in our daily life, in how we view, how we understand what life's about. Especially right now, this is a transformative period. We are in Elul. Elul is a time for return, a time of great will. We talked about the Garden of Will and Yearning in the previous classes and podcast episodes. Check it out. But going forward, we are bringing that will into everything we're trying to do. We're having a big will right now, a big prayer, a big opportunity to connect to some amazing people out there. We have a growing Unity Bookings platform, like as I've already explained. We've had amazing artists and speakers and creators, all of them. Each one of them is a light unto their own and has ability to really inspire and bring a lot of good energy to the world. So we're going to be, please God, pulling together some new names, some new opportunities as well, just to add to the fire. Asaf Harush is an amazing Israeli artist. You can check out the bio on the Unity Bookings platform, where we put up the latest artists and speakers. So Asaf Harush has tremendous flow, energy, talent, an Israeli artist who wants to go more global, wants to hit the American shores and UK, all the English-speaking countries, as well as our European friends and South Africa, all the amazing places that right now have reached out in the past for booking. We've had Russia reach out for bookings in Turkey, and there's always opportunities. Vienna recently, and Vienna again, Hanukkah. We're going to have the ability to be a global connection. Hashem bless you, dear Raveli. Yes, our first comment on our new platform. Someone else wrote new weekly podcast. Yeah, that was Unity Amuna Flow over there. That's, thank God, still present in our life, those platforms. So there's once again a lot of content, and thank you for the friends from our weekly classes on the Bresla platforms for joining us a little bit over here. But the main thing is keep connecting to what you're doing over there as well, and have a blessed month of Elul. Yes. And the goal is, we would love, as I'm saying, I'm going to be meeting up with a proper podcast studio producer, sound engineer, who will hopefully guide us to make a very professional level podcast. It will be a big opportunity for all of us to go together on those platforms and do something special. I'm just going to post my Instagram episode there. I'll edit it a bit more later, but it's already going to go on live there, so people can know that we've gone live in the general platforms. And my hope is that we'll be having guests like we did in the previous 90 or so, 100, ended up being about 112, 13 episodes, but we had over that time period about 80, 90 guests, and it'd be amazing to be able to have full-on discussions. Some of them will be online, most likely on a Zoom platform, and we also have in-person conversations. The point is to scale what we did and to bring it to a more universal level that we can really hit the mainstream podcast empire that's growing. The biggest influencer right now is Joe Rogan, and that was quoted by Dr. Jordan Peterson, who's someone who understands very much, the human reality as we are now, and he very much has pushed out Joe Rogan as the name and the example of influencing our generation in the biggest way. And he's got his long form podcast, so we're going to aim for that kind of style, maybe not as long. It might not be completely visual at the beginning, so there'll be a lot of audio. Maybe we'll set up some basic visual. We'll see. We'll have to discuss it with the people who will be hopefully partnering. We're going to discuss it. So new opportunities. But the goal is to really, once again, to aim in that line of influence of being able to have really dynamic conversations about things that really make a difference. Have a good time, enjoy, entertain, not to be too serious, not to be too overly spiritual. As a Jew, I will mention some Jewish concepts that are going on, spiritually right now. As mentioned before, this is Elul, the shofar's blowing, literally waking up the Jewish people, and I do believe the consciousness of humanity is tuned in much more than ever to what the Jewish people are up to. So we have a synergizing experience. We're all in synergy with each other, and there's an amazing synergization for us to really experience the spiritual light that we understand is available in the world, and to have it shared globally, so it's not something just within our bubble, but it's something that's a light and is able to be expressed and communicated in very down-to-earth terminology. Is something I've been discussing with one of my good friends, Shmuel Diamond, who we might be doing some collaborative work in terms of the 7 habits of Stephen Covey, taking it to a new level, as I've done in the past with the 10 habits of truly effective use, and we can really bring it down. He's got a concept called the 7 Dayas. So we're going to see how we can collaborate with other people who have got those concepts of universal thought. Maybe one of the ways is by having this podcast platform, we'll be able to bring in lots of people. This is just an intro episode, so excuse me. Same with the Relationship Flow podcast, which we'll get to now. Obviously, I need my soulmate, Masha, aka at TeenyPop613. She's the key to the relationship conversation. Possible that we can do some collaborative things. We did with the midnight. It was Middle Path or Middle Ground, podcast, Middle Ground podcast. We could do those kind of collaborative things, and also what we did with other podcasts in the past as well. And there's amazing ability to have those conversations and expand them. And I do believe that all of us have a need right now more than ever to feel flow in our life, to feel that what we're doing is purposeful, meaningful, but not just for ourselves, but to really connect it into our sphere of influence. It's much more challenging than ever to really connect to people. I've experienced this the last time period with the way life's so busy and hectic. Even people coming to the Holy Land, I'm not actually making it to always meet up with them as I had in the past, and that's a painful point which I believe that we can fix and work on, and it's just a matter of time before we really take it to that next level of connection in a real-time way. So I'm putting it out there, this podcast flow, and realizing that as much as I want to unify with artists, creatives, speakers, mentalists, comedians, all the different cool creative spaces, the source is, once again, the soul level, and the source is that it has to come with that relationship flow, that we're able to tune into people and remind ourselves that even if we don't get that face-to-face time like we had during the Corona experience, which we hope will never happen again, we can create that kind of vibe in the world, that kind of energy, that understanding in a deep way that we are all connected. On a relationship level, we are all one. And therefore, no matter where we are where we're situated, where this podcast ends up going. And that's one of the reasons why we make it a mobile podcast, so we can maneuver, we can travel, we can always hopefully get this done on a weekly level, but we just need once again, some more professional help to get it to a high level with the camera skills or the audio, the quality. There's definitely a lot to work on, that it will always have that inner content, that inner focus, that an inner point that we're always unifying. We're connecting on a soul level to all of humanity, connected to all our loved ones, to all our friends, and even if it seems that we're not in touch as much as we would want, or in a way, but we can move past that and look to the future of how we can connect physically in person. But also remember, even now we can connect through prayer. We can dedicate, for example, this episode to David Ben Amuna, to Naomi, and for the healing, for a friend I was never to see because of her father was unwell, or different things that come up, like our friends who we want simchas, please. God, I won't say all the names of people because maybe it'll be obvious who they are, and they want to be kept private. We have to keep that privacy and that trust always as part of relationship flow. And it's something which, thank God, my wife, my soulmate, has always been an amazing guide. She's the one, by the way, pushing me more than ever to do this podcast. It's very important when you have a soulmate to have conversations about what you're passionate about, and especially when I'm going through a transition time like right now, and spiritually the world's going through transition time. Technology is coming, we're going to have AI and all the different kinds of platforms. We're going to use Chatgpt and and we're going to be busy with Bard and all these new kinds of ways of being, and all these ways of bringing together content through technology. There's now Image Maker, we mentioned the previous podcast I did on the previous platform. We have the idea that we can create amazing video and art through the technology now as well, not have it take away our creative spark, but empower, encourage, and build up. So this is the idea. So I'm not on as big a platform as I was before, so I don't expect like the kind of impact. But what my wife said is we have to keep going. My soulmate said you have to keep strong. You have to realize that it's not about the numbers, it's about you doing your thing and putting out that message. And in its own unique way, maybe we can build even bigger than we were before in terms of the numbers and the impact. But the concept is coming from a soulful place, coming from a sincere place of soul. The shofar is the concept. When you're blowing the shofar, this ram's horn, it's shaped like the way that God himself, our creator, blew the soul into humanity. So the soul was blown into humanity. It's a nishmas chaim, it's a living soul, and it was through the breath. That was how the soul connects. That's why in a relationship flow we discussed the concept of neshika, of kissing. That's a soul connection, and when you communicate, it's the all part. As Tony Robbins said many times, 90% of relationships is the communication and emotional connection, and only 10% is the physical. You have to realize, and for sure when we add in the spiritual equation, but the concept of the communication, how we connect, it's so important to realize the breath is the essence of who we are, and it breathes into us as soul. And the shofar is there reminding us, is waking up that element of ourselves. And that's our hope, that this podcast will have an awakening of soul in how we connect in creative spaces and do our work, and also in how we connect in relationship spaces. And it's really ultimately one concept that we have to bring into every part of our life. It's just a matter now of hopefully with systematic help from God and from friends who are wise in this, and all our wonderful teachers and spiritual teachings, to bring it in, and for all the different voice leaders and thought leaders nowadays, the ones who are putting out so much content for our generation. I'm just going to have a little bit of water here. Thank God it's boiling. Wow. Time. It's one good thing this month is cooling down a little bit, but it's intense, the heat. So yeah, we want to be flying. We want to have that air. We want to have that success. We want to realize that, there's going to be times where seemingly symptom of contraction, but it's only in order to build bigger and to develop deeper resources that we can do what we have to do. And it's just, this is the time. This is it. So I'm going to try to treat this podcast generally around 20 minutes, just a heads up. So for everyone listening in, 10 minutes on one thing, 10 minutes on another. Right now we're on the unity flow, the relationship flow. Is there any other announcements? Yes, Rabbi Stepsky enjoyed the unity flow and unity bookings. Very important to check out the growing list of speakers. And we're still working on the tour with Moshe Gersh, as well as Rudy Rochman's been a little bit of delays with that, so probably going to push it off till January, February time to get him to the UK. I myself, big announcement, will be in the UK September the 7th and be there till the 12th. So I've already got a speaking opportunity at the JLE, where I originally began my journey to Israel through the JLE. I mean, the truth is I came to Israel without the JLE, but I ended up in the JLE, both in Israel and in London during that time period. It was very important and a big appreciation. So I'm going to be sharing my story a little bit about, you know, the impact the JLE had and my journey as a booking agent and my past and growing up in the music world and everything I, you know, envision for our people, how we can return together in a big way, in a true way to our true essence of what we're here for, and to really live a more engaged, empowered life. That's the vision that we're having, and it really is about us collaborative people joining together and doing it. Because as much as we need to talk, we need to do as well. And especially this time of year, it's very much about action, a lot of charity, a lot of, you know, doing kindness, connecting with people that are important in your life, as much as prayer also features, but that's actively doing it in a community, you know, slichot and other ways of connecting. Tonight we have at the Zera Shimshon, we're having a halula. It is the yacht site, the anniversary of the famous Rabbi Rav Shimshon Nachmani, and we're doing a dedicated event for him. 300 learned people will be joining together to learn through all the books of this author, the Zera Shimshon. Check it out at the Zera Shimshon. There'll be a lot of inspiring Torah. Hopefully we'll have a section in English. We're going to try live stream some of it, as well as some of the special guests. There's even rumors of the Yanuka himself coming. So lots of very exciting people will be involved in, thank God, in that collaborative project. And yes, there's so much to do. Yeah, it's fine in my room. Apologize for any mess over there in the YouTube, I noticed. But please God, as I said, this is a new platform, so we're going to get better and better at getting everything set up in the most, you know, professional and the setting, and the, you know, once again, all you guys can send in your feedback. I mean, most people love commenting on the technical side. You know, I've had some questions. How can you prove the soul? So the soul, I mean, just the fact that humanity has values and is searching all the time is already a living proof of the soul. That the fact that we have this moral system, the fact that we already have so much revelation that's taken place in history of spiritual moments of me personally in my journey, there's just a living proof of soul. The fact that, you know, I've managed to survive in the Holy Land with all the different obstacles that take place, and I continue to take place, and there's this heavenly protection, and somehow we get through day by day, and things do improve over here with the technology and everything else. So there's definitely so much to be thankful for and not to take granted, and to say a big thank you to all of you who've been part of my journey till now. And you can all reach out. We've got links below in every single video we'll do. There'll be opportunity where to connect to our artists, all the musicians, the speakers, creators. Are going to be opportunity to connect to the podcast, our Relationship Flow, and the blog that we created for both Relationship Flow and the general blog of Unity Flow podcast, because we want a site where everyone can connect. Also the new Substack, we already got 33 up. We're going to hopefully update that soon, the next day or so, with the Substack, United Souls Extract Part 34, and it's exciting. What's going to be on, well, you have to wait and see. Check it out. Subscribe now to the links in below, and you can join me as we go through my book, which I never put out yet, in parts and extracts. And as I said, this is part 34 already, so we're quite extensively involved in United Souls concepts of what this podcast is named after, and what the general inner will of everything we're trying to do is to unite human soul, to bring out the soul level, to remind everyone that with everything going on in the world, there is a soul. With technology, we have to spiritualize it. We have to spiritualize the current political challenges, economic challenges. We have to spiritualize our emotional challenges, our mental challenges, our physical challenges, our general just getting by challenges, how to have the tools to deal with life. And that's, the soul gives so much wisdom and guidance if we just allow humanity to attach itself to that level. As Mesilat Yesharim says, a famous book from the Ramchal, he has this concept that there's a maze. I was talking this out with my friend, but how to get through the maze of life can be very challenging, and some people can get stuck, God forbid, in certain parts of the maze, and then they get more lost and more lost, depending on how complicated the maze is, and life generally is complex. So we always need someone who's just a bit above. Like I went to my Rebbe, this week, someone who's above the maze a little bit, who's seen the overall map of how to get it through life and give us that guidance, or going back to the more ancient wisdoms or the previous people who've, as Robbins always says, don't reinvent the whole soul. Don't reinvent everything when you've already got so much wisdom. Stephen Covey talks about it again and again. Like, you have so much ancient wisdom and wisdom within. It's amazing how much the soul can constantly guide us from that higher level, that more objective level in our general daily life. And the more we connect ourselves, as I connected to my Rebbe, and he reminded myself, my family, we just have to be patient. Everything's going to be good, and we're going to do it with joy. We're not going to allow these voices of doubt to hold us back to do what we're here for, and just to become like, God forbid, some sort of broken person. There was an interesting reaction video. We'll end with this. And it was a guy called Anthony Oliver, I believe his name is. The first time I heard of him, I was listening to I think it's My Life Shaq or something, a reaction to it. Yeah, check out Shaq, SHAQ, and Anthony Oliver review reaction. And we see over there tremendous insight, from his music, from the soul, from the creative energy that's within, that we're trying to bring out for all these special people, including myself, how we can bring it out, the soul of a female, and he's pouring from the soul. This is the kind of music, and you see his reaction, the guy reacting to Anthony Oliver. This is the energy we need for our generation to wake up. Like NF, we talked about in the general music scene, and Ren, all these new artists coming along who are waking up. They don't want to just be part of the system and the general institutionalized way of doing things. We need a revolution, as Tracy Chapman sang so many years ago, talking about revolution. It's a whisper. Yeah, we need to really get that shofar blowing, get it really loud, as Dr. Benji Epstein did on Duncan Trussell's podcast. Wake up these thought leaders, wake up the mainstream voices of podcast world, and create a space and eventually influence all the media, all the things going on out there online, elevate it all. And that's our vision. So I'm happy to start this process with you guys. Once again, I welcome feedback and connect to Unity Inspire Projects at gmail.com or the website unityinspireprojects.com, and you can reach out to me directly anytime with WhatsApp over there as well. And I'm here for you guys, and it's a matter of time till we bring this vision to reality. And I love you for being part of it. Thank you. Have a good day. Audio coming soon.